1 cup restores failing eyesight? Seniors stunned by this simple morning drink. She used to hold the book right up to her nose, squinting, tilting her head, adjusting the light over and over again, just to make out a single line. For years she thought this was just age catching up with her, the slow, inevitable fading of sharp vision. But then something strange happened. One morning she walked into my office and said, "I can read street signs again," without squinting. She wasn't shocked because it was impossible. She was shocked because no one told her it was possible. And she isn't alone. I meet countless older adults who think poor eyesight is a one-way street, a sentence you simply accept with age. But what if I told you that in many cases, it isn't just aging? That your eyesight is often dimmed by nutritional deficiencies, oxidative stress, and something I call microvascular fatigue, the quiet exhaustion of the tiny vessels that nourish your eyes. What if I told you that 1 cup, made of 3 common foods, could support your vision in ways glasses and surgery never will? Stay with me, because this isn't hype. It's biology. Now, before we dive deep, do me a quick favor. If you value your eyes, if you've ever felt the sting of squinting at a menu or the frustration of dim headlights at night, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm to get this message out to more people who need it. And if you want more evidence-based health tips that respect your intelligence, subscribe to this channel. We're building a community where curiosity meets clarity. Let's begin with the most famous and maybe the most underestimated of them all, the carrot. We've all heard the old tale. Eat your carrots, see in the dark. Some people laugh at it as folklore. Others cling to it as gospel. But when you trace the science, the story gets a lot more interesting. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, a provitamin A carotenoid. Your liver converts this into retinol, the active form of vitamin A. Retinol is the raw material your body needs to make rhodopsin, the pigment that lives inside the rods of your retina. And rhodopsin? That's what allows your eyes to catch light in the dark, to adjust when you step into a dim room, to notice contrasts in the shadows. Now, here's where it gets shocking. A major review in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people with higher intake of carotenoids had a dramatically lower risk of age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of blindness in seniors. The World Health Organization itself has warned for decades. Lack of vitamin A is one of the primary causes of night blindness worldwide. The mechanism is simple. Without the fuel, the lights dim. But carrots alone aren't enough. Beta-carotene is fat-soluble. Without dietary fat, your body barely absorbs it. That's why some people eat carrots all day and see no difference. But combine them with the right foods, and suddenly the body wakes up, converts, absorbs, and uses it. I remember one older patient who had been eating carrots raw for years, yet still struggled. Once she paired them with a small amount of dietary fat, her night vision improved and her morning eye fatigue eased within weeks. Subtle, yes, but real. Now let's pivot to something unexpected. Bananas. You probably don't think of bananas when you think of vision. Most people think potassium, cramps, or maybe a quick sugar fix. But bananas hide something far more strategic. They regulate intraocular pressure. And if you've ever heard the word glaucoma, your ears should perk up. Glaucoma damages the optic nerve when pressure in the eye gets too high. Potassium is the quiet mineral that balances fluid levels, lowering that hidden pressure. Bananas are also a modest but steady source of vitamin C, vitamin B6, and antioxidants. What caught my attention years ago is that they contain a natural antioxidant form of dopamine, not the neurotransmitter you think of, but a compound that scavenges free radicals inside your retina. A 2021 study in Nutrients found diets rich in antioxidant-dense fruits like bananas lowered the risk of macular decline significantly. I've had older patients who didn't notice dramatic changes overnight, but after including bananas regularly, they reported fewer dry eye episodes, less strain under fluorescent lights, and a surprising boost in their ability to adapt between light and dark rooms. But there's a deeper lesson here. Eye health is never about one food. It's about synergy. And that brings me to milk. We all grew up hearing milk builds strong bones. But in my practice, I've seen it as an unsung hero for vision. Why? Because it's loaded with riboflavin, vitamin B2, a nutrient that almost never gets enough attention. Riboflavin regenerates glutathione, the master antioxidant that shields your eye lens from oxidative damage. Without it, your lens clouds over. Cataracts are not just an age story, they're often a riboflavin deficiency story. Milk also carries vitamin D, zinc, and of course the fat that helps you actually absorb the carotenoids from carrots. A 2020 study in JAMA Ophthalmology showed people with low vitamin D were more likely to develop macular degeneration. Zinc, meanwhile, is the shuttle bus that carries vitamin A from your liver to your retina. Without zinc, you can eat all the carrots in the world and still struggle. So when you blend these foods, carrots for beta-carotene, bananas for potassium and antioxidants, milk for fat, riboflavin, vitamin D, and zinc, you're not just eating, you're engineering synergy. Nutrients are not soloists, they're a choir, and when they sing together, the effect is profound. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I had an older patient, mid-70s, who came in frustrated. Glasses, magnifiers, brighter lamps. None of it helped her night driving. Her daughter had to chauffeur her around after dusk. We built a routine. Each morning, a blended drink, carrots, banana, milk. Nothing fancy, just consistent. Within 3 months, she walked in smiling and said, "I drove myself here last night. No miracle pills, no surgery, just nutrients her body had been starving for." Now, if you're thinking that's too simple to work, let me remind you, biology thrives on simple. Complex problems often have humble roots, and we're not done yet, because there's one more layer, oxidative stress. Imagine rust spreading on metal. That's what free radicals do to your eyes. They chip away at your macula, your lens, your optic nerve. Antioxidants like those in bananas and honey, yes, honey, fight that rust. Honey has been shown in studies to reduce oxidative damage in eye tissues by up to 30%. When added to a warm drink with lemon and ginger, you get a natural anti-inflammatory boost that carries nutrients straight to the tiny vessels feeding your retina. Now let me pause here and say this. I know some of you may be skeptical. You've heard too many miracle cure stories. I don't blame you. But everything I've shared comes from peer-reviewed science and clinical observation. No gimmicks, no exaggerated promises, just nutrients your eyes recognize as fuel. Here's how you can make this drink at home. 1 medium carrot, boiled or lightly steamed to release beta-carotene. 1 ripe banana, peeled and sliced. A glass of warm milk, preferably fortified and organic. Blend them together until smooth. Optional, a teaspoon of raw honey and a pinch of grated ginger for extra antioxidant and anti-inflammatory firepower. Drink it in the morning on an empty stomach so absorption is at its peak. Simple, affordable, backed by science. If you've ever turned up the brightness on your phone, if you've ever enlarged the font on your Kindle, if you've ever avoided night driving because the glare felt unbearable, this 1 cup could be your first step toward relief. Now, some of you might ask, is this a miracle? No. Will it give you the eyesight of a teenager overnight? No. But will it recalibrate your body's own ability to protect and nourish your eyes? Absolutely. And that's far more powerful than any quick fix. If this video gave you value, hit that like button. It helps more than you realize. Subscribe to this channel for more weekly videos on aging well, natural health, and staying in control of your body. Share this with someone you love, because eye decline creeps up quietly, and the sooner we support it, the better the outcome. And now, here's my question for you. If you had the chance to keep your eyesight sharp and clear for decades longer, would you trust nature's simple foods? Or wait until it's too late and leave it to surgery?